Peace, everybody. I'm back again, same outfit, but it's a different day. And in today's edition of How is Biggah Gonna Piss the World Off? Because, as you know, that's what I do. We're going to start to discuss the Arab slave trade. This is definitely going to be a good one. Pay attention. Now, let me just give you a little bit of a disclosure, right? As an American, I am very, very familiar with the Atlantic slave trade. That is pretty much what got my people in this country. What we don't talk about very often is the Arab slave trade. And when I first heard about it a little over a decade ago, there was a lot of other things going on in my life. So I didn't really dedicate that much time and energy into it. However, about 5 years ago, I did have the time and I started to really investigate it. And one of the things that really fascinated me is how many people had never even heard of or knew that the Arab slave trade even existed. I find that interesting because this is the oldest, longest running, largest slave trade in the history of slave trades, and it seems like nobody's heard of it. Let's change that, shall we? The Arab slave trade is a major, major component in African history, and it lasted like damn near 13 centuries. It started in, I want to say, like 700. It started in the 7th century and ran on until like the 1960s and was finally outlawed in like 2007. Think about that. From the 7th century to being banned in 2007. Definitely the longest slave trade in the history of history. Another name that the Arab slave trade is known by those who know it, is the Saharan slave trade, if I'm not mistaken. My bad, the trans-Saharan slave trade. In the late 7th century, Arab Muslim armies occupied North Africa. Arab merchants bought Africans and basically transported them across the Sahara. So just as many lost souls that were lost in the Atlantic Ocean are probably, it's even more in the Sahara Desert. Most of these slaves moved from sub-Saharan Africa to North Africa, where they were sold to Middle Eastern people and Mediterranean civilizations. In the 9th century, Swahili traders and Muslim traders gained control of the Swahili coast, and things really started to move from there. Now they could move slaves over the Indian Ocean to the Muslim world. In the 1690s, there were about 30,000 African slaves that were stolen. That number increased to about 85,000 per year. Think about that. Don't blame me. Be mad at your mama. She ain't teach you this shit. So when we're having the conversation about occupiers and colonizers and genocides, we actually need to be paying closer attention to how we use those words and who we're directing those terms to, especially since the Arab population are literally pretty much the white people of the Eastern world. I said what I said. I'm going to end the video here. Make sure that you come back. There's definitely going to be more parts to this. And as always, have the day that you deserve.